Okay, here's the focus lesson notes for your third day of solving. We have learned how to solve single step equations. We even worked yesterday on doing double or multi-step equations, which is two-step equations. Now we have multi-step equations, which is just a very simple thing. You just have to remember to simplify first. And as long as you remember that, before you do any kind of movements of numbers, of moving numbers to the left or right, or multiplying or dividing, then everything should work out. So number 11 gives us 72 plus 4 minus 14d equals 36. And if you look at this, something is wrong. Maybe not on the right side, but on the left side, I notice that I have two like terms that can be put together. And that is why I say, if you start approaching it with the idea in your head of simplify first, 72 and 4 can be simplified to be 76 minus 14d equals 36. You then go ahead and solve as usual. 14 is the closest thing to d, so I subtract 76. Negative 14d comes down. 36 minus 76, I believe, is negative 40. Now remember, I told you I don't like a negative number on my coefficient, so what I'm going to do is switch all the signs and then divide by 14. From what I know, both of these are at least even, which means that 40 would turn into 20, 14 would turn into 7. That's as far as you go. I'm seeing a lot of people turn this into decimals, but remember, you cannot use decimals unless decimals are in the problem. Looking quickly at 13, we have 6p minus 2 minus 3p equals 16. Same thing, if you look at this carefully, the left side should kind of bring up a red flag because you have two like terms that are not simplified, and that is why you need to think simplify first. 6p minus 3p is 3p. Bring down your minus 2, bring down your 16. Notice now this looks just like the questions yesterday, where we will simply add 2 to both sides and divide by 3 to get our answer of p equals 6. So that's one type of question where you have to think simplify first. There is a second type in another area in this chapter or unit where it's, instead of giving you the simplifying part of combining like terms, it gives you something else. So let's look at that real fast. We have 5 parentheses 2 plus 4z equals 85. Well, here's the thing. This is obviously a simplify first because I don't know what to do with these parentheses outside of distribute. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 5 times 4z is 20z equals 85. Now notice again, this is something we've done before. Take that z, to get z by itself, I want to first off subtract 10. I get 20z equals 75. Then I divide by 20. I know this can be divided by 5. I think 75 divided by 5 is 15. Yes, it is. So it'd be 15 over 20 divided by 5 is 4. And that would be your stopping point. And even 26 gives us 15 equals negative 2 times 2t minus 1. Again, the parentheses are a big indicator that I need to get rid of those first. The only thing you have to be careful of is the negative. Yes, negative 2 times 2t is negative 4t, but there are so many people who forget about the fact this is negative 2 times negative 1, which is actually positive 2. This is where they expect you to mess up. Once we get here, we know that we need to get rid of the 2 by subtracting it. We know we don't like a negative coefficient, so we simply switch both signs, make 13 negative, make 4t positive, and then dividing by 4. Again, do not turn this into a decimal. That is going to get you marked wrong, even on the computer. It's just negative 13 over 4, reduced as far as it can go. Now there is a second type of question you're going to see on this work today that is going to ask you to look at a word problem and set it up. I'm going to set up 19 and 20. And other than that, just make sure you write this down and think about what's going on. It says you have a part-time job. You work for 3 hours on Friday, 6 hours on Saturday. You also receive an allowance of $20 per week. You earn $92 per week. They want how much you earn per hour at your job. So X represents the money. I could just put M for money. So The thing here is, you know that you get paid per hour on a job. So what they want you to do is, you work 3 hours on Friday, so put 3M, because 3 hours times however much money you make. You also work 6 hours on Saturday, so plus 6M, because you get paid this much amount every 6 hours. The thing here is, it says you receive an allowance of $20 per week. That is a flat 20, which means we're just going to add a regular 20, and it says that every week I earn 92 bucks. So 3 hours of work times how much I earn, plus 6 hours of work times how much I earn, plus 20 should equal 92. Combine your like terms, and the 3 dots simply mean do what you've normally been taught to do, and the question will work out the way it's supposed to. Even looking at number 20, a family buys airline tickets online. Each ticket costs $167. Family buys travel insurance, costs $19 per ticket. Website charges a flat fee of $16. And they have a total here. Again, it's because they have a total, we know it's going to equal $1132. Go back, and they want to know how many tickets did the family buy. So if each ticket costs $167, I don't know how many people there were, so I'm going to put 167 times P, because it's 167 per person. It says they also have insurance, that's $19 per ticket. Well, again, I don't know how many tickets they bought, but I know it's $19 per person. It says it charges a fee of $16 for the entire purchase. That is a flat 16 because it doesn't say per ticket. And again, in the end, the family spent $1132. And so you use that information to go ahead and combine your like terms, and again, do what you've been taught to do from there. It's really not nearly as bad as it looks. Now, the last thing you're going to see is going to have fractions inside of the problem that have different denominators. Now, 30 I'm not going to do, because when you look at 30, I want you to think about one thing. Every single one of these numbers is the same. So something over 13 plus 3 times something over 13 equals 8 over 13. Keep in mind, whenever you subtract fractions, the denominator stays the same. So in all honesty, once your denominator is the same, it really doesn't even matter anymore. Because if we can get b minus 3b to equal 8, then we're in good shape. B minus 3b is negative 2b. Remember, I don't like a negative coefficient. Dividing by 2, I get b equals negative 2. And again, you have 2 over 13, something else over 13, which is times 3, and it makes 8 over 13. So again, the overall idea is, if the denominator is the same, because in addition the denominator really does nothing at all in the problem, you can kind of ignore it and just focus on the top. The problem in 31 is that the denominators are all not the same. Now, we do have the same number on the bottom, but we don't have the same exact denominator everywhere. And here's what we do. What we learn, or what you will learn, is that anytime you have a denominator of one number, you can simply get rid of that denominator by multiplying everything by that number. Because I have a 5 on the bottom, I can multiply everything by 5, which means this becomes 25y minus, remember, whole number times the top, which is 15 over 5, equals whole number times the top, which is 20 over 5. This becomes 25y minus, look what happens here, 15 divided by 5 is 3, 20 divided by 5 is 4, and although I'm not going to solve the rest of this, I think you know what to do here. Again, the 3 dots says add 3 divided by 25, and you get your answer. So just notice that whenever you had a number on the bottom, if it's just one number, just multiply everything by that number, and what happens is, in our actuality, the 5's cancel out and 3 comes down, the 5's cancel out and 4 comes down. The reason why I do this is because it doesn't always end up as nice as what you just saw. So let's look very quickly at 35, where we have b over 3 plus 1/8 equals 19. All you have to do is think about the fact that 3 and 8 meet at a certain number. Remember, common denominators that we discussed. 3 and 8, if you don't know, just count by the bigger number. 3 can't be 8, next number is 16. 3 can't be 16, next number is 24. So 24 is my number because 3 can't be 24. So we're going to multiply all three of these things by 24. And yes, the numbers will get big, but no, you'll notice that the numbers actually are decent in terms of fractions. So you end up whole number times the top with 24b over 3 plus 24 times 1, whole number times the top, which is 24 over 8. We just need our calculators for 24 times 19. Sorry, 24 times 19, which is 456. 24 divided by 3 is 8. B. 24 divided by 8 is 3. 456 is our number. I'm going to use 3 dots because, again, at that point you know how to get from there to the answer. You would subtract 3, divide by 8, and that is something you've been trained to do so far. And number 36 gives us 1/4 plus 4x over 5 equals 11 over 20. Here we have the situation where we have 3 numbers. Again, the best thing to do is just count by the biggest number until you find something everyone agrees with. 20 is the biggest number. 4 goes into 20. 5 also goes into 20, which means that in this case 20 is my number. If it wasn't, I would have checked 40, then 60, then 80. Again, whole number times the top gives us 20 over 4, plus 20 times 4 is 80x over 5 equals whatever 20 times 11 is, which is 220 over 20. Simplifying all these, 20 divided by 4 is 5. 80 divided by 5 should also be nice, which is 16. X, don't forget there's an X there, and then 220 divided by 20 gives me the answer of 11. Again, you will be asked to solve these, but once you get rid of the fractions, I think it becomes such an easy question to solve that you're okay. And even though my phrase today was simplify first, I think that this is simplifying it. We don't like the fractions, so we use a trick that gets rid of the fractions, and we can simply solve it the way we've been trained before. So good luck on this. Again, remember to use the question guidance. The one that says it's going to solve it for you or work it out for you or walk you through it is honestly the best one I've found so far. The video is not always consistent, but help me solve this is a pretty good idea for that. Good luck.